Hi FPL community, it's Adam Hopcroft here. I posted on Sunday evening to ask for some questions and queries from the FPL community, and I tried to reply back to as many as I could. But the one question that kept coming up is what to do with Teemu Pukki, and it was really difficult for me to answer that in over a tweet because ultimately I think it depends on your team, your setup, and when you bought him. So I think just to put a bit of context, everyone knows Pukki started off incredibly well, but then has gone on to blank in the last 3 game weeks. And looking at it, there's a couple of things. Firstly, his stats have regressed somewhat. So he's only had 7 shots in the last 3 game weeks. And I think he's registered, according to Understat, an XG of 0.64. But he's also created chances in those matches and as an XA of 0.4. So possibly unlucky not to return something in those 4 matches. I also think he's been massively hampered by the injuries that Norwich have had. They've had a very depleted squad, and I know they managed to get through against Man City, but I think against my own team, Villa, a lot of their players were playing through the pain barrier. So I think there are some circumstances that have potentially gone against him. Now, what do you do with him? So I would say if you've bought him fairly recently, so you don't have too much value tied up in him, then there is a stronger case to get rid of him, as you're not going to be losing any team value. I also would say that if you don't have any of Wilson, Abraham, and potentially Vardy, if you don't have any of those, and one of the easiest ways for you to get them in is by getting rid of Pukki, I think all 3 of those strikers will outscore him. So, and obviously Vardy would take a little bit of moving money from other positions. So I think there are examples of team setups where you may get rid of him. My personal view and what I'm doing for my team and how I'm set up. So I'm set up, I currently have Pukki, Abraham and Wickham is 4.5. Now, I think given the vast array of strikers available at the moment that are performing, for me, the weak spot in my team is Wickham. So I definitely want to go 3 up front. And I think the 7 to 8 million bracket at the moment is quite a nice spot for FPL strikers. So I'm happy to have 3 in that bracket. I think there's a strong case for just keeping him maybe for the next 3 or 4 game weeks, especially if you got onto him early at 6.5, 6.6 million. So you've got the value tied up on him. He plays, so I think looking at it, his fixtures, so he's got Bournemouth and Watford in the next 4, who are in the bottom 5 for XG conceded. So he's got a good chance of returning something. He's the talisman, quite clear talisman of Norwich. So I think there's only 2 goals he hasn't been involved in this season, and one of those he wasn't on the pitch for. So if Norwich score, he's very, very likely to be involved. And I think for a 6.5 million player, if you get a couple of returns in the next 4 game weeks, you can be fairly happy with that. So, and I think probably the final thing that I would say is I think confidence has a really big effect on players. And I think he's just scored 2 for Finland. So I think that's a really, really positive, thing for him coming into this game week. So personally, I'm going to keep him. I'm going to watch Daniel Farke's press conference because hopefully Norwich will have a stronger and fully fit squad, or at least some of the players coming back to full fitness, not playing through injury. But my view is, I think in summary, there could be a case to sell him if you don't have some of the key assets, and it's the only way to get the likes of Wilson and Abraham in. But I personally feel that it's probably worth holding on to for the next 2 or 3 weeks. If things don't work out, there's other options there at that price bracket, the Jimenez, the Hallas, etc., that you can jump onto, whoever's in the best form. Hope you found this video useful. I'm going to try and post some more short, sharp videos on hot topics. So if there's any others that you're interested in, do let me know. Thanks very much. Bye.